Well, ever since I graduated Penn State with my civil engineering degree, I've been in the utility industry. I started out in 1980 working for General Electric. I used to build power plants. I worked in the Chicago office, so I worked all in the Midwest, building power plants, doing maintenance of power plants. Then when I decided to stop traveling and settle down after I had my first child, I decided to stay in the utility industry. And I went basically back to Pennsylvania and started working for a utility that was a combination natural gas utility and an electric utility, UGI Utilities. I stayed there for 23 years, had various jobs in marketing, operations. I was vice president of their electric operations, and then I was CEO for 5 years of that organization. And then I took early retirement. They wanted to do a reorganization, and they decided to give me an early retirement package. I took that package. I was a little too young to retire, so I wanted to come and work for a place. And when I was up in Pennsylvania, I had the opportunity through the Pennsylvania Electric Association to work with a number of municipal utilities. And I really liked their business model, being close to the community, local control. So when I looked for a different position, I looked almost exclusively in the municipal sector. And then the job came up down here at PWC, working as the Chief Operating Officer in electric. I was fortunate enough to get that position. And then, as everybody knows, in 2015, I was selected as CEO, replacing Steve Blanchard. So it's been a great run. You know, my last 10 years here at PWC have really been the most enjoyable and rewarding of my career. I've really enjoyed my time here. As anybody, when you're near retirement, you kind of take stock of your career, and I tend to not take a look at any personal successes. That's just not the kind of person I am, but I take a look at where PWC has moved over the 10, 11 years that I've been here, and again, I've had obviously a part of that, but I think, you know, we've done some exciting things, like we're doing more succession planning, we're doing more employee development, more employee training. We've invested in our community. We have community solar. We renegotiated the Duke contract, saving our customers over $300 million on their electric bills going forward. So I think it's doing things that were very in line with what PWC being a hometown utility means, but those successes aren't just my successes, they're successes for the whole organization. But I look back at those and say, yeah, I played a part in those, and I'm very happy that I did. Well, the utility industry is constantly changing. It's like anything else. But, you know, I think, you know, you've seen movements in some areas of the country where they've taken utilities that were investor-owned and they've actually made them into municipals. But then you've seen other areas where municipals have been bought out by investor-owned utilities. So I think it's a volatile market. And I think what we have to do looking forward is we have to prove ourselves valuable to this region and Fayetteville. And we have to, you know, basically take stock of what we're doing and show the community how we are valuable for them as a municipal utility. Because there are pressures there. You know, there's this bigger is better. Why don't you, you know, merge with somebody else or something like that. But having that local control and having PWC be part of this community is invaluable. And the commissioners have had as a goal, you know, communicating that out in the community and letting them know the value. But, you know, we tend to not beat our own drum a lot. You know, it's hard to say, hey, here we are and this is why we're really good. But I think we need to do more of that. And that's an important piece, I think, going forward. But I think the future is bright for municipal utilities like PWC because we are closer to the community. We can react quicker. I mean, you just take a look at, you know, we had a couple of hurricanes, how quickly we were able to restore power. And you take a look at what we did through COVID, working with our customers and helping them through the hard economic times. So we've reacted to our customers, and being a local municipal utility, we're able to do that. It's kind of unique when you come into a position like this. You know, the transition that I had with Steve Blanchard was a lot of fun. I mean, I loved working for Steve. Steve was here for over 40 years. And, you know, the way in which he and I transitioned worked out really, really well. And if you remember, during that period of time, we were going through the whole charter stuff with the city. And it was interesting to go through that process and to get where we are with the new charter. So I won't say it's a funny memory, but doing that transition with Steve and working with him and learning from him and having him tell me the history of his time at PWC was probably the most enjoyable in spending time with him. We're going to stay in North Carolina. Both of my kids have moved down here, and we're very happy about that. I'm going to spend more time up there because my parents are still there. Their health is still very good, but I want to spend more time with them. So we are going to spend a little bit more time up in Scranton. But no, we're going to be based here in North Carolina. We really enjoy North Carolina, and we've become part of this area. So we definitely want to stay there. So. My wife and I, we do a lot of international traveling. We want to do a lot more of that. We want to spend more time with our kids and enjoy that. And I have in the past done some occasional teaching. And my wife is a professor, as you know, and she just retired from the UNC system. So her and I are going to probably do that. We may even teach a class together, which would kind of be interesting. One of the things that I've seen, you've talked about changes. I take a look at what Fayetteville was. When I came here in 2010, and you take a look at the way in which the leadership of this area has really moved Fayetteville forward. You take a look at all the development downtown. You take a look at what's happened with annexation and getting sewer and water out into the areas and stuff like that. The future is bright for Fayetteville. The future is really bright for Fayetteville, and I think that we need to continue that, and PWC can be a partner in that. I mean, we have the lowest combined utility rates when you take a look at electric, water, and wastewater in the state. We need to take advantage of that as an economic development tool to bring new businesses here, to make existing businesses expand, and to attract people to our area. That's a very important thing. So I think, when I take a look at the future of Fayetteville and PWC, I think working together with the city and the county and the other areas which we serve, I think can be a real boon to this area. I think, the one thing that I really first initially attracted me to PWC, and one thing that I'm the proudest of, is our culture here. And the culture here is one of, we care about our community, we care about our customers, and we care about our employees. One of the things that I mentioned when I interviewed here, 11 years ago was, my management style is one of balance, one of maintaining that balance between customers, the community, and employees. And that's something special. PWC is not perfect, okay? But there are very few places in today's world that have the kind of culture that we do. And that's something that can be gone in a minute. It's something that I think we need to continue to nurture, and that we need to, as a valuable asset for the community. We basically have to, justify ourselves every single day to maintain that culture. So that's something that I think is my closing message to employees. It's a challenge in a sense, because we are Fayetteville's hometown utility, but we have to prove ourselves every single day. And I think PWC's been around for 115 years. We want to be around for another 115 years. In parting, I just want to thank all the employees, past and present, all of the commissioners, past and present, for all the support that they've given me. I mean, when I came here in 2010, they welcomed me, made me a part of the PWC family. And I know that they'll do the same with Elena when she gets here. But I just want to thank all the employees, past and present, and their families, because, one thing that I've mentioned, for example, when we had hurricanes, is our employees, they sacrifice. When we need them to take care of our customers, they leave their families, they come here, they work long hours. And so I not only want to thank the employees and the commissioners, but I want to thank the larger PWC family because they're part of this as well. And they've welcomed me. I know they'll welcome Elena, and they're part of what makes PWC great.